Good morning, Aimee.
Good morning.
Admittedly, this is, I think, the fourth time we've attempted to do this with schedule conflicts and everything else, but I think this is our time to shine. The reason I wanted to talk to Aimee today was obviously Aimee runs, I guess it's not obvious, but a lot of people that listen to this know who we are. But Aimee is the VP of Relocation and Referrals at Gibson Sotheby's International Realty. And she has taken a very unique approach and has been recognized by the network in what she does. So I'd love to talk through how we work at Gibson in terms of referral networks. But twofold is why I wanted to talk to you today. I want you to talk through our approach, your approach, the Sotheby's International Realty brand, and why that's so different than other brands. Because when I was into referrals like 10, 15 years ago, I felt like then everything else was pay to play. And our single point of distinction was just that we were more about people. It was actually quality, similar people in the business in different cities. Sotheby's had a specific type of person, a bar that they set, and you knew that your client was going to be taken care of. And it was also a tremendous opportunity to network with those people, build your business around that. So we'll get into all that. Since then, I will say that I think some people have tried to emulate this and say they're not pay to play. And when we say pay to play, it's really just saying, I'm a part of this network. I can set you up with someone, but you're setting them up with someone you've never met, probably doesn't have much in common with you. We're not looking at the same type of business that we run. So I think that that's an important thing to think about and to build out too. The third tier would be an agent building that themselves. So that's what I want to walk through with Aimee today, because she's the master of all of this. And before I let her sort of talk us through the high level of what the distinction is, I do want to say that the reason I wanted to do this today is because with a market where it is right now, right, and across everywhere in this, at least in the nation, inventory is very low. Obviously, there's some outliers, but where we are, business is hard to come by right now because the inventory is so low, and that means less transactions. And that's what we all need to happen, right? To keep our business going. This is an opportunity for you to create more transactions in your business in a way that you might not think about when you're doing your business plan. We always do. We're always layering this into our business plans at Gibson Sotheby's International Realty, but it's so critical to be thinking about this in 2024, because what we're looking at right now is a continued low inventory markets. And the best thing you can do is have these relationships with people where you could really send something to them. They could send something to you. It creates so much more opportunity for you. So I don't want to steal any more of your thunder, Aimee, but if you could sort of just lay out those three tiers and how we come at them differently and what differentiates the brand for me. And we can kind of get more tactical once you lay that out for us.
Yeah, perfect. I would say, kind of like you said, in terms of the pay-to-play networks and other brands that say, because we have the same name and the same backing, or because we're all part of the same network that we're paying to participate in, we have the opportunity for referrals. And that might be true, but what differentiates us as Sotheby's International Realty is our investment in the relationships and truly getting to know one another and how interconnected we are on a consistent basis. It's not just about referrals, it's about collaboration. It's about, like you said, when our markets locally are down, we have the ability to look at who are our feeder markets. Do I have a relationship there? Let me connect with them and see what opportunities there might be in that market, so I can share that with my clients if they might be interested in that area. Maybe they're moving to or from. And I think that how interconnected we are, and really how easy it is, the ability we have to tap into those other people and their openness to collaboration, is that distinction for us as Sotheby's International Realty.
I love the collaboration piece to really drive that home, because ironically, it came up completely organically in a conversation for me. Probably 2 weeks ago, I was on the phone with someone who's been taking advantage of all the events, which I do think that some people look and they're like, oh, like, must be nice, like if you have like time to go there, or the means, and like some of us don't, and some of us won't thrive there. I personally have 2 children under 2. I understand that there's sometimes people don't have the ability, or it's not the season of their life that they can go to everything, but there are some things you can do, and we're going to get into that. But this group actually it's a husband and wife team. We rolled them in a small company, and they are the top in their county, the top in their market. They have been at the top, but they are truly the top at this point, and they're thriving in the Sotheby's network. And I said to her, You guys have just had an incredible year, you know, and I know that you've like really tapped into the network. You just got back from the ski where they went out and skied, obviously. And she was like, you know, what's funny is not about the business that we're getting sent. It's the groups that we're involved in and like able to tap when we run into a challenge or when we're kind of stumped on something or when we want to layer something different into our business. Like we have so many people we can call now who operate just like us. And yeah, that business comes organically through that because if they have a client, they know your styles are similar. They trust that you're going to, so that obviously, but it's an organic thing. The collaboration creates the real referral network versus just, oh, I want to make paycheck. I'm going to make a phone call. I've never met this person. I have no idea what they're all about. Right.
And I would also say with that same team as an example, their other light bulb moment that they had when they joined Gibson Sotheby's was that our team, in addition to providing those opportunities from the network for events and collaboration, they have a dedicated team that they can lean into when an opportunity arises if they need insight. And they've done a great job of calling me and my team when they have a need in a specific market and really working to develop the relationship. So having the resource that really is that matchmaking system for them to ensure that they're connecting with a like-minded individual in that other market is what we have in the network, both with us locally and we have our affiliates have that across the board as well to ensure it's that best match for them when they're looking for advice or a active referral.
Yeah, I love that. And let's dive a little deeper into that the outgoing referrals, just that alone. I think you do such a good job of talking about that. And it's truly like giving something. I know that there's a group that read The Go-Giver last month, like a book club at the company, but it makes you feel good. You want to give something. And Larry always says there's 3 sides to every deal, right? If you're not doing the third, you're not doing the referral. Where are they moving to? Obviously, sometimes they have a relationship, but you have to ask. And the thing is I think what people have to, we've gone over this, you and I on the last podcast, is reframe your mind to the fact that you're not trying to make a paycheck to make this referral. It's not what it is. You're trying to service your client. You want to show your client that you're the global resource. You have these resources for them, not just in this one. You have a niche, you're like hyper local, but you have these true connections and these outbound referrals. I think if you can get into how you get people honed in and focused on that, because that's another thing that really explodes. They always say, where's the inbound or where's the incoming? And that's really where it comes from. It feels like when you do those the right way. So can you walk us through what you would tell someone to increase their outbounds?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, it's important to underscore that I think a lot of agents feel like referrals it feels salesy and it makes you feel a little uncomfy when you're approaching your client looking like you're seeking another side of the transaction. But what you're really doing is taking care of them. If your client is moving to San Francisco or Austin, if they don't have a personal connection in that area, how are they deciding who they work with? So what you're doing is ensuring that the real estate process for them is seamless, no matter where they're going, whether they're relocating there or buying a second home. They don't have to go about that alone. And I think that's the piece that a lot of agents don't realize is it's that level of service that you're providing them, and showing them that you're that global real estate resource will make your clients turn to you over and over again. And how we really approach that is what I get most excited about in every day, is thinking about how we're capturing those outbound opportunities. And we really took a focus when I started working with this company on how we were marketing around referrals too, to help you have that conversation consistently. So of course, the biggest piece is the organic conversation with your client, asking them about their real estate needs in other markets. If it's a buyer that's moving here, where are they coming from? Are they all set on the other side? Could you make an introduction? Even if it's a preferred partner, maybe you can help them in some way, shape, or form. Don't be afraid to ask. And if you're simply having a conversation with a client, it never hurts. I think it was just yesterday, actually, we had someone from the brand come and speak to the company about some of our differentiators, how the brand supports us. And one thing she said is we have a tagline, nothing compares to what's next. And part of that in the referral process is helping the clients to realize that their dreams are attainable through these resources that you have. So helping them dream about what that second, third, fourth home looks like for them in a ski market, and if they want to buy a coastal property, and helping them think about if they were to purchase a pied-à-terre internationally, where would that be? And do they want some insight ahead of time? And it's not always that you're trying to make an introduction to capture that opportunity. You're just helping your clients to realize that you want to be that resource for them wherever life takes them. And you have ease of access to these people that are so open to collaboration that would be willing to have a conversation, whether there's an end game currently or not. Somebody would pick up the phone and chat with a client about maybe what the lifestyle looks like in that market, what some opportunities are that might be available to them right now. And then they can understand how they'll get there if it's in their 3 to 5 year plan. And I think that's what's important to think about, is it's not always, oh, just here's one current opportunity that we have. It's helping them think about what they might want in the future, and that you're that resource for them, in that you're bringing it up on a regular basis in conversation. And then that second layer that we really focus on is, from a marketing standpoint, talking about the network on a regular basis. I think we're all on social media at this point, and the easiest way to stay in front of a broader group when you're not having that one-on-one conversation is through social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And our team creates content on a regular basis to share with our agents that talks about the global network and then our local network here in Massachusetts, to be sure that your clients realize you're that resource, maybe not just in Boston, but also in the suburbs and the coastal markets of Massachusetts, but also in California and Italy. So we create pieces that our agents can simply repurpose onto their channels and be talking about that consistently, because your client might not need a property in California or Italy, but they might be thinking about Florida or Brazil. And once they see that you're in different countries and states, they might be more open to asking you. And I think that consistency to showcasing the market helps it to become like a really natural conversation, because they see the strength of the connection and how tangible it really is for the agents.
I love that. And all of this is adding value. And I think that's what we try to lead with everything. So when Aimee started this last piece, she said, it feels salesy. We don't want anything to feel salesy. People see right through that. It's adding value in any aspect that you can on both levels, right? So if you are a client who may want something in another market, you need to believe that, and you need to actually be providing them value in that market, right? So I have one tip, like hot take on that, but also the referral partners, right? Add value. What we started all of this with was the fact that someone was like, honestly, regardless of the business that anyone sends me, I'm getting a ton of collaboration, and I get ideas, and I get collaborate with other agents, share things with them, and let them know not just about your market, because you're like, oh, let me give you statistics on my market, or let me send you my listings, because then you'll think of me. What else are you doing? Are you picking up the phone and asking them, is inventory low in your market? Because I did these things, and actually this one thing really helped me. Give people things that you feel like would add value to them, and you won't feel like you're selling it, because the real thing here is we are actually adding value. And that's what you have to believe to do this. And I think the one big tip I have is to the point that you just said, there are sometimes people are sitting there being like, should I buy something in Vail? But most often, if you have a client that is a high net worth individual, they do own property in other places. Find out where those places are. You don't need the address. You don't need to bother them for it. Make a phone call right then, right? So you just closed on your client's property in Massachusetts, and in conversation, it came up that they owned a property in the Bahamas, or that they owned a property in Aspen, or whatever it might be, or Cape Cod. They don't want to sell the property in Cape Cod necessarily. They didn't say that. They didn't say they wanted to upgrade it. But guess what? Everybody wants to know what's going on in the market. So there's your opportunity. That is the biggest thing that I think, action item, you could take out of this. Every client you have, if your business is down right now, just in terms of the fact that we don't have a lot of transactions going on, think about where they own, call and make a connection in that market. Call Aimee. She'll help you make a connection in that market. Call that person and say, just wanted to put this on your radar. This couple is, maybe their kids are getting older. Maybe they don't want that huge house on the Cape anymore. Maybe they want something in Naples and the Cape, right? So start to plant those seeds of, if something comes up in the neighborhood, can you let me know? Can you let me know so I can just call my client and say, I was thinking of you. I saw something sold in your neighborhood that you own on in the Cape. I know you might not want to do anything with that home, but it was one of my colleagues that sold it, and I wanted to let you know. Now you've added value. You've planted the seed. You've let them know that something happened that could impact them, right? It's information that might help them, and they might look at each other and say, that's a good price, right? Do we want to explore that? Or, hey, thanks. It's good information anyways. All we're all doing, anybody that owns property knows that you're constantly looking at like what your value is and what's going on in the neighborhood. think about that stuff ahead of time. Those seeds planted, if you went through your database and you picked 20 people and you did that, you made connections. Not only are you making connections, that Cape agent that you called might call you on something next week.
Yeah, I would say to build off of that too, that's something we've been working with our agents on. We were doing feeder market workshops. So really having them come and join us and start thinking through exactly that. Where do your clients potentially have other properties? Where are you seeing your buyers coming from or going to recently, anecdotally? Give us your real experience. And then where do you have personal connections? And let us help you make some proactive connections in those markets so that you have that real insight on what's going on there. You can share it with your clients. And also, if the opportunity arises, you're ready to jump on it because you already have built that relationship. And that is really what we try to focus on as a company. And I would say too that piece on how everyone is so approachable and open to collaboration. I had an agent just call me last week that's from Austin, and he said, I've been seeing a lot of synergy between our markets. He has a house up here in the South Coast area in Massachusetts. And so they have personal ties here as well. And he thinks it would be super valuable to get to know a number of our agents. And he was actually at an event that we had last year and had a chance to meet a number of them, but thought, why not meet even more? Because we believe in abundance as well. And he wants to share what's going on in the market because he thinks it's super relevant to our agents to get that insider intel, and offered up the opportunity to join an office meeting or present to our team. And we're actually going to build a final layer to the workshop around connecting with our feeder markets and having some people come on and present to our team with that insider intel. But I think it's really nice just to see that agents and leadership and anyone is willing to pick up the phone and call one another, think about how can I build my referral business, knowing that you're a market that we interact with on a regular basis. And
yeah, I love that. It's all proactive and it's all giving. It's all knowing your value. And to kind of close it out, just building these little mini networks, building your own mini network. I think, again, to reiterate the Sotheby's, we feel that the Sotheby's brand's differentiator is truly the level of agent, the level of service is similar across the board, which can make you really confident. But I also think it's important for you to find like-minded people. And just one last thing I wanted to touch on was the concept of, going to conferences or building these networks. I think it sounds cheesy, but it's like you have to, even if you're uncomfortable, like dial into like actually who you are, what you like. Stop trying to be like everybody else. Aimee and I joke because I, a long time ago, handled the referral network, our referrals at the company, and she handles it so differently. And we might seem similar, but we're not. And so we built such different like groups of people just because of our approach and who we are. And we both just kind of come at it like, here I am, this is what I'm about. And you attract different people. We have a lot of the same like friends and connections, but just lean into and be okay with, I think is the point. Like who you are, like that just sounds silly, but a lot of people think of conferences as like, I have to go and I have to be on and I have to like pretend to be, it's like, no, if you actually just kind of like sit back and like look for people that are like you, or just make conversation and be yourself, you're going to attract all these other people who do business similar to you. And those are going to be people that help you grow because their ideas are going to be similar ideas that will work for you because your styles are similar. So maybe talk us through, not only just to kind of close us out, unless you had anything else, like, what do I do right now if I'm an agent that's just joining the Sotheby's brand, or if I'm an agent that wants to ramp up this year in terms of the networking, right? Starting from conferences to other ideas, if that's not a possibility for people.
Yeah, I would say on the home front, it's definitely paying attention to our brand in addition to our company locally. We're always hosting, like I just said, we hosted a workshop last week that was in person. So for our agents locally, come to as many of those learning experiences as you can. Go outside of your own market and attend a session that's in a different office of ours at Gibson, because you might meet a number of agents that actually are feeder markets for you, because locally we work a lot with one another. And then on a brand level and a local level, we also host a number of virtual events. So in terms of learning and collaboration, some of the events are webinar format where you're just kind of taking in information maybe from a leader or panelist of agents, and be sure to follow up with them after to ask a couple of questions, tell them they did a great job, start building that relationship if it is that format. But there are also a lot of virtual opportunities that have a networking component, be it small breakout rooms that you're getting into to really discuss something. I know a number of our Sotheby's International Realty agents host Zoom networking events on a regular basis, or they host info sessions where they talk through a strategy and then have you go into breakout rooms during that session to get to know each other. So there's so many incredible opportunities where you don't even have to leave your home or your office to connect globally with a number of agents, learn from each other, gain inspiration, and also build those referral relationships. And then, of course, the bread and butter is if you can travel, it is incredible. There is nothing that compares to meeting someone in person, feeling the energy in a room that's full of people that want to lift each other up. And I think I personally, I would love to attend any and every event that our brand or the industry hosts, because I think it's just such an incredible opportunity. Like you said, everybody is different. You get to know someone's style so much more when you're having that in-person conversation where like really like there's all the formality is removed at that point, because you don't feel like it's this interview style conversation on a computer screen. It's really a true organic chat with a friend. And going to our specific Sotheby's International Realty hosts a number of events. This year we have, of course, a global networking event coming up in Nashville in September. We typically will also have, I know next year there are a couple of affiliates that are planning to host more micro events that will be probably 600 or 800 people instead of that couple thousand people. So depending on what you're most comfortable doing, there's always an opportunity for an in-person event. But I would also say that an event is as big or as small as you make it, because it's about the strategy and how you approach it. To your point, Nicole, where you said that we're such different people in how we want to approach an event. So when we're going to an event, we plan to approach it in the way that's best for us. More so I plan and you don't. You like to approach more whimsically, right? But
I just like to let stuff happen, you know.
But I also, I leave room for spontaneity at times too. But I would say
can't spontaneity.
With our agents, we help to strategize for events to make sure maybe you don't want to walk into a room of 3,000 people and say like, okay, now what? So
it's my favorite thing to
do. You plan to have coffee, dinner, drinks with somebody that I can make a proactive introduction to by leaning into my other relocation referral directors around the country, our leadership across the globe. Everyone's collaborating before those events start to help build connections in markets that are feeders for one another, and to make sure that you have the best event you could possibly have. So you're making the best use of your time and not feeling like you're walking into a room of strangers and wondering what to do next. And I think that's the biggest piece to how you approach the networking events, is thinking about, we really help to customize the experience for you.
Your approach is much more, there's much more of an ROI there. And like you said, customizing those experiences, it's important. And it's something I think that is an incredible opportunity. If you sign up for an event and you hit Aimee and Megan and you say, hey, I signed up for this event, they're going to sit with you and they're going to walk through who's going to be there, who you should meet, what you should be doing, which is great. My throat closes when someone tells me like, I'm going to have coffee at 11 a.m. on April 28th, that like, I don't even know what time I'm going to have coffee tomorrow. Like, but that's just me. So that's what made me joke around about. But I do want to wrap this up because we promised it would be short. So is there anything else that you wanted to leave people with? And then, of course, if you're a part of Gibson Sotheby's International Realty, you know that a huge part of our business, and what I always kind of drive home with these conversations, if we're talking to people internally, is business planning. And obviously every layer, we've talked to Jenny from our marketing department, everything she does is sit with people and go through that marketing plan. Daphna and her team, they all sit and they'll go through your business plan for the year in general. Aimee will sit and she will go through a plan for your referral. This stuff matters, and you can call her. You obviously know where to find her. And if you don't, reach out to me and I'll put you in touch. But I did want to just leave people with that. If you want to take a deeper dive, please do call Aimee and Megan and they'll go through any and all of this with you. But is there anything you want to leave us with Aimee?
Yeah, I would say to kind of like put a bow on the conversation, that the key takeaway should be that our Sotheby's International Realty Network is the differentiator, is the people and the collaboration. Lean into the resources that you have at your fingertips, connect and collaborate, and the referrals will follow. And I think that is the most important thing to remember.
Yes, I love that. Truly, like, give first, lead with the giving. Give your ideas, give your business if you have it, those referral leads, and that's all going to come into play. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thanks, Aimee. I'll see you soon.